Motion blur is an effect in animation and visual effects that mimics the blurring of objects when they move quickly relative to the observer. It's a key technique used to convey speed and fluid motion in dynamic scenes, such as fast-moving vehicles, swinging objects, or quick character movements. Implementing motion blur in VFX helps bridge the gap between digital and real-world visuals, making the integration of animated elements into live-action footage feel more cohesive and believable. This is crucial for maintaining the illusion of reality in films, animations, and video games. Now let's see why motion blur is important. First of all, in order to add realism to the rendering. Motion blur helps digital content mimic how the human eye perceives rapid movement in the real world. Without it, fast-moving objects might appear unnaturally sharp and staccato, breaking the viewer's immersion. Then it's important to add smoothness. It smooths out the motion in animations, especially where frame rates are limited. This can make the movement feel more fluid and less jittery. Now let's see how motion blur is created. The key factor is the shutter angle in cameras. In film and digital cameras, the shutter angle affects how much motion blur appears in an image. A wider shutter angle allows more light and movement to be captured, enhancing the blur effect. But in visual effects, motion blur is often added during the post-production phase using software tools. This can be adjusted to match the desired intensity and realism required by the scene, or it can be generated during the rendering in order to achieve a more realistic effect. Motion blur is an essential visual effect in animation and VFX that adds realism and continuity to fast-moving objects. By simulating how the human eye perceives motion, it helps in creating a more immersive and believable experience for the audience. Whether in films, video games, or animations, applying motion blur correctly can greatly enhance the visual quality and the emotional impact of a scene. It's not just about blurring lines. It's about enhancing perception and integrating disparate elements into a cohesive whole. Effective use of motion blur can make the difference between a scene that feels disjointed and artificial and one that feels alive and dynamic.